regarding the Qur'an's criticism of traditional Christianity. I don't think the issue is that, the prophets did not bring the same message, or that all religions did not come from God, but, do these religions and their traditional understandings teach the same things about God? Is there a theological critique in the Qur'an of Trinitarian Christianity? The reason I'm asking is because in the translation of the Study Qur'an, Surah Ma'idah, I believe ayah number 72, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَقَدْ كَفَرَ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ ثَالِثُ ثَلَاثَةٍ. That it is a statement of those who have disbelieved, who say, this is not your translation, this latter part is, that God is one of three. God is one of three.
Or the third of three.
The third of three. God is the third of three. So my question is, here, you mentioned in the essay towards the back that the Qur'an does not oppose, this is a direct quote, the various forms of orthodox Trinitarian doctrines. It opposes crude misunderstandings of it. Essentially, what I gather from that is that this verse is condemning tritheism and not necessarily orthodox, I know you don't like that word, or traditional Trinitarian belief. And if that's true, then the traditional belief, Trinitarian belief, is that Jesus is homoousios, that he shares an essential essence with God. So is that not problematic from an Islamic standpoint? So basically, does the Qur'an, in your opinion, consider Orthodox Trinitarianism as constituting a type of shirk or not?
I think that this gets in, the Trinity is a very complicated issue, obviously. And I actually agree. I think that one of the things, people tend to criticize the perennialist school and then not read them because they're told that they shouldn't read them, and then have no idea what they say. And you go and you look, for example, Fritjof Schuon has an excellent discussion of the Trinity. And he basically says, look, the Trinity was an unnecessary doctrine. It has a way of explaining God, but it is unnecessarily complicated. And I do think that that when one gets into what the Christian tradition is trying to explain with its understanding of the nature of Isa alayhi salam, is in many ways the same thing. A lot of people aren't going to like this, but it's in many ways the same thing that we are trying to explain with the doctrine of the Qur'an as the uncreated Word of God. Is that where is that line between the Word of God and this attribute? Now, it's not exactly, it's not a one-to-one correspondence, I know, between the traditions, but it is the same kind of overall metaphysical problem of where you draw that line between the absolute divine presence and the nature of the revelation, or we could call it the logos, to use a Christian terminology, or the kalimatullah, as Isa alayhi salam is referred to as a kalima min, a word from God. And ultimately, I think that if you look at how much debate there has been within Christianity itself regarding this issue, it's not something that you're ever going to have an agreement coming out. Remember that even the people even some of the Mu'tazilites who were criticizing those who later became the Ash'arites, one of the things that they said is, you're saying the same thing about the Qur'an that the Christians are saying about Jesus. That was one of their actual criticisms of the argument. Now again, like I say, I don't think that there's a one-to-one correspondence between what's being said there, especially because there's not this idea of the homoousios. But I do think that there is a line, and I do think that one of the things that the Quran is opposing is the potential for very crude misunderstandings of Christian doctrine, and unfortunately, the history of debates regarding it has shown that there are a lot of crude misunderstandings. I think that and this is one point where I actually agree quite a bit with Mr. Schuon, is that this is an esoteric doctrine that should not have been made, in a sense, to a full exoteric doctrine, because there's too much room for misunderstandings to arise regarding that. And when you read many of the verses, and you probably know all of the debates within Christian theology regarding the nature of Isa alayhi salam better than I do. When I read the verses of the Quran regarding these issues, I see it as taking positions within that ongoing debate regarding the nature of Isa within and beyond the Christian tradition.
Okay. Would you say the Quran is rejecting this idea that Jesus is God himself?
That Jesus is God himself, yes.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you might want to check out some other videos that we have available on our channel. And don't forget to click on the subscribe button to get more updates on new videos as they are released.